Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Pregnancy, Birth and Recovery podcast. So today's episode is a listener question. So thank you for touching base and submitting this question. So it's all about staying fit and active with a young family. So this lovely lady said she just listened to the pelvic floor prolapse podcast with Dr. Pat and Bridget, and she really enjoyed it. So that was a few episodes ago if you're interested in pelvic floor and prolapse. And thank you. She wrote, I love your page and I love learning from healthcare professionals who are also parents themselves and so can really tailor the care and advice that they provide. I have a question around if you have any recommendations for staying fit and active with a young family. I have a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old, and I'm finding it difficult to find a way to fit in regular exercise with the two of them. When I just had one child, I found it easy to get out for walks or jogs with a pram, but now managing my toddler as well means it all seems too difficult. Do you have any suggestions? I've always been an active person and have found the recent reduction in exercise has been affecting my overall well-being. Thank you for the work that you do. So firstly, thank you again for taking the time out to submit this question. I love it because firstly, it will directly help you and any listeners who have a similar question. And I can guarantee there's a lot of you listening today that are wondering this. Very same thing. I know it was something that I came up against, but also for selfish reasons. We're now nearly at 200 episodes, and I love to have some inspiration for podcast episodes. So thank you so much. All right, I have got so much to say on this topic. Staying fit and active with a young family. Like, I get it. When you're pregnant and you don't have a baby yet, you can sort of do what you want to. Sure, you might be feeling nauseous, tired, you might be working full time, you might have aches and pains, but it's still only you to consider. Then when you have a baby, generally you can pop them in a pram, and on the most part, they're sort of happy with that. You might, as they get older, give them some toys to stay active with, some food to nibble in the pram so that you can get in your little 10-minute walk, 20-minute walk, run, whatever it is. But once there's a toddler on board, plus a baby, the toddler sometimes has a different opinion of what they think should be happening. So it's not quite so easy to be just strapping them into the pram and heading out and doing what you want. So with a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old, I totally get it. And I'm sorry to hear that it has been affecting your overall well-being, and I totally get that too. We know there is a massive link between physical health and mental health. We know that being physically active helps us to feel better in our bodies. It helps us to feel like mentally, it helps us to feel more confident. It helps us to release those endorphins and those feel-good hormones. And I remember feeling like if I didn't achieve anything today except for a walk around my block with the pram, then, that's amazing. I felt like I'd achieved something. So there's so much to be said for moving the body, getting out in the fresh air, or whatever it is that you're doing, and the impact and the flow-on effect to the rest of your day. So let's chat through some really practical tips that I found worked for me and my members inside Fitness Mama, the ones that end up staying, for 6 months, achieving their goals, feeling strong, feeling active, getting back into running or getting back into CrossFit or whatever it is they want to get back into. This is what I find tends to be a recurring theme with all the members that succeed inside Fitness Mama too. So firstly, though, before we go into some practical tips for staying fit and active with a young family, I do just want to reflect on the fact that this is a phase of our life, and it's a phase of our life, like motherhood. You're in the thick of it. So you've got a baby who might not be sleeping very well. You've got a toddler, the demands of a toddler. So I do just want to just reflect on that and just say you're doing an amazing job and you're in the thick of it. You're right in that stage where it is really hard to prioritize you. And like, I totally get it. Often as a mum, you fall to the bottom of the to-do list, especially if you're the primary carer. So just being kind to yourself. And the other thing I just wanted to say too is matrescence, the becoming of a mother doesn't happen overnight. And I really do think for every subsequent child you have, and as your children grow, it's like we're evolving into a new version of ourselves and of motherhood. So the evolution of becoming a mother of one baby, and then there's the evolution of becoming a mother of two. And at every stage, we're evolving um, ourselves in terms of our duties and our commitments, but also with the growth within ourselves and the changes that happen within ourselves. So matrescence doesn't happen overnight. We don't just suddenly become a mum. It is an evolution. And now I'm finding personally, my 3 children are now all at school and I'm sort of evolving into another new phase of motherhood. So these are phases of life. And at the phase that you're in at the moment, when you're in the thick of motherhood, in the thick of everything that goes with becoming a mum, babies, toddlers, sleep deprivation, perhaps breastfeeding, perhaps you're back at work, like whatever is happening, it's busy. So be kind to yourselves. But here now are a few practical tips for you to consider. And they are tips to consider. These might work for you. These might not work for you. Take it or leave it. But I'm going to pop in all the tips that I can think of, and then you can think, okay, what resonates with me? What am I going to perhaps trial? We're at the time of recording, we're coming up into 2024. Perhaps you've got some goals for 2024. And which of these do you want to take on board and which perhaps you can leave? And that's fine. Like, none of them might resonate. And if none resonate, actually send me a message on Instagram at fitnessmama. And let me know what does resonate. What would help you stay active during this phase of motherhood when you're in the thick of it? Okay. Tip number 1. Let's get our village on board. Let's have a think. What support have we got? Are there any family members that can help? Are there any friends? Is there your partner? Is there anyone at all in your village who can support you? Are there any? So let's, and I totally get it. Not all of us might have a big village around us. So let's talk through who that village might be. And hopefully there's something or someone that might be able to support you. So this village might include, the easiest one is your partner, if you do have a partner at home. Perhaps they can commit to coming home at a certain time of day once a week, or perhaps they can commit to leaving at a certain time of day once a week so that you can get in 20 or 30 minutes before they leave. So, for example, I remember, I think it was like a Wednesday midweek, my husband would try to come home. That was his day where he'd try to be home at 5 o'clock on the dot. He could then feed the kids while I went for a quick 20-minute walk, 30-minute walk, 15 minutes. Like in those early days, it was literally around the block. Like I just got out of the house and had a bit of me time. And then I knew, okay, that's my one walk of the day. Is there a family member that can come and mind the kids when you get out and about? Maybe yes, maybe no. If you don't have anyone that can actually come and take the kids and support the kids while you go out by yourself, what can you do with your children? Could you go to the park with a friend and then take it in turns? This is totally one option, but one of you look after the kids while the other one could do a nice, easy, quick routine at the park out in the sunshine, and then you can swap. Like there's so many ways of being creative. And I do just want to say here as well, like what feels easy for you? What would feel like an easy achievement? If what I've said feels too hard or not really possible, or perhaps it's only possible once a month or once a fortnight, what would feel easy? What's a small stepping stone that you can do today? And I know I'm biased, but this is exactly why I created Fitness Mama. I was in this position. Hell, I was a physio and a Pilates instructor. I was working in a clinic at the time, and I found it too hard to attend the clinic for a class, especially when I had a toddler and I was pregnant, and especially when I had a toddler and a baby. And when there were 3 kids, forget it. So this is why I created fitness, because I started to think, you know what? I'm going to do 10 minutes with my toddler in the lounge room, put on the music, have some fun. Sure, it's not my normal workout, but I'm going to move my body, do some nice core work because I felt so weak, do some strength work. And that for me feels easy. Personally, I hated exercising when my baby was asleep, because when my baby was asleep, that's when I want to do all the million things I wanted to do, or I wanted to rest, or I wanted to do something for me. When my baby was asleep was not a time I like to exercise, but I know that is a time when some women do exercise. So what feels easy for you? So for me, I loved what I called a Wiggles workout, where I would put the Wiggles on, and every time there was a song, I would dance with my toddler. Every time they were talking, I would do some squats, some push-ups, some core work, and then the next song would come on, I'd dance with my toddler, and then that was 10 minutes of moving my body. So I love a good Wiggles workout. A lot of mums say, did one of your express 10-minute classes today in the app, and I felt like a different person afterwards. So it doesn't need to be a online home-based workout. It could be something else, but what feels easy for you? You might find once a week you've got the support of your partner or family or friend or whatever it is, and you can go to the pool or go for a walk or whatever it might be by yourself. But then the rest of the day, the rest of the week, you might need to consider doing stuff with your children on board. So, yeah, that is one tip. Think what feels easy, what could be an easy achievement today, not tomorrow or next week. And look, even if it's 5-10 minutes, it's still a small stepping stone. And even 10-minute bursts of exercise has been found to have a great impact on your overall health and well-being. So it's not pointless to do a 10-minute workout. It's absolutely worthwhile. Another tip is to plan. So there's 2 elements to this. I love a good goal. I love a good plan. So at the start of the week, I often sit down with my husband. I'm like, okay, what days can I go to the gym today? Or, back when my children were younger, I was like, what days can you be earlier to home from work so that I can go for a walk or go and do a workout? And then I would actually write it in my calendar. I'd get my phone out, write it in, send them the calendar invite so that they knew what they needed to do to, if they needed to be involved, what day they needed to get home early, that sort of thing. And then I'd find at the start of every week, I would have my plan. But I know things sometimes don't go according to plan. So I do love planning week by week and month by month. But I really do believe with motherhood, we need that day-by-day flexibility. And sometimes things aren't going to go according to plan, and that's okay. Is there a backup plan? So, for example, if your partner couldn't come home and you couldn't go out for that workout, is there something you can go do at home that's quick and easy? Can you go for a quick walk that your toddler does tolerate? Like, what is a backup plan? And if all else fails, there's always tomorrow. I find with motherhood, if we keep trying to do everything exactly the same as we used to before we had children, that's when I find I get stressed or anxious. But I find if I submit to motherhood and submit to it and submit to the process, I guess, or whatever the term is, That's when I feel most calm, at ease, go with the flow. If it doesn't work out, you know what? That's okay. It's our phase of our life that we're in. Let's try again tomorrow. Let's keep putting this plan in place. Sometimes it goes according to plan, sometimes it doesn't, and not being too hard on ourselves. So to summarize, staying fit and active, I totally get the benefits and the mental health benefits and, being a physio, 100%. There's so many reasons why we want to stay fit and active. But as a new mum, let's be kind to ourselves. Let's try putting a plan together, involving someone to see if there's someone that can help us with that plan, having a think about what feels easy for us, what feels achievable, and then going with the flow, giving it your best shot. So many times in our private Facebook group, a mum might write, "Hey, I started to do a half-hour workout today, but I only did 10 minutes. I'm going to try again tomorrow." And I'm always like, that's amazing. You just did 10 minutes that you probably wouldn't have done otherwise. Like, let's give ourselves a pat on the back. Let's celebrate the wins and not stress over the not so wins. Hopefully that's given you a little bit of food for thought. You've got this. If you need any support and if you would like to be able to exercise easily at home with quality workouts that are created by a physio, that you would like to be able to do when your bubba's kicking around on the mat next to you whilst your toddler's running around and you're dancing with the toddler, then come and join us for a free 7-day trial. All the links are in the show notes. Head to fitnestmama.com and also send me a message on Instagram at fitnessmama if you'd like to send through any questions or let me know of a tip that works for you in helping you stay fit and active during motherhood. Something perhaps that I didn't mention, send me a message. My inbox is always open and I always love a good chat. That's it, ladies. You have a fabulous day. And I look forward to you joining you again for another episode very soon of the Pregnancy, Birth and Recovery podcast. Thanks for listening to the Fitness Mama podcast, brought to you by the Fitness Mama freebies found at www.fitnessmama.com/free. So please take a few seconds to leave a review, subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and be sure to take a screenshot of this podcast, upload it to your social media, and tag me at fitnessmama so I can give you a shout out too. Until next time, remember, an active pregnancy, confident childbirth, and strong postnatal recovery is something that you deserve. Remember our disclaimer, materials and contents in this podcast are intended as general information only and shouldn't substitute any medical advice, diagnosis or treatment. I'll see you soon.